right, this is the Week 14 press conference with Travers family head football coach Justin Wilcox prior to Cal's regular season finale visit to SMU on Saturday. We will go ahead and get questions started with Jeff Ferrado from Cal Bears on SI. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, good morning, Justin. Just wanted to talk about your Texas connection. I believe you have 20 guys from the state on your roster, including some guys who are pretty prominent. And it's been part of what you guys have done for a while now. Can you just talk about how you kind of cultivated that relationship in the big state, and also how important it will be going forward since there's a Texas school in your conference now?
Yeah, we've had some real good success with guys from Texas coming out here. The state of Texas gets recruited heavily by most everybody, and there's good reason for that. It's, there's a population base. There's a lot of really good football there. Obviously, we want to start here in California and go from here. But Texas has been good, and we've had, as you mentioned, a number of prominent players, and we've had coaches with some connections there, and we're going to continue to recruit Texas.
And can you just talk about the two safeties who will be playing their final regular season game and get to go home and do that?
Yeah, could talk for a long time about those two guys, but Craig and Miles meant a lot to us. Just in this era of college football, to have two guys playing the same position, coming from Texas and been here that long, and they've had ups and downs, both of them, but man, just incredibly proud of what they've accomplished on the field and off the field, and it's just been really a joy to watch those guys grow up as football players and as men.
Thank you.
All right, Jake Curtis, Cal Bears on the side.
Justin, did you happen to see Fernando's post-game TV interview after the Stanford game?
Yeah, there was a couple clips that got sent to me. One was of Fernando, and one was of our man Trevor, and I thought they were both fantastic.
All right, we'll go to Steve Croner, SF Chronicle.
Justin, first injury, particularly in your linebacker room, and any update on Kade Uluabe? And it looked like Ryan McCullough might have gotten hurt on that last stack, and so what's the update on him as well?
Yeah, Ryan's going to be fine. Cade is day to day at this point. Yeah, he's still working through it. Cade's a really tough guy. It's just a nagging injury that he's dealing with, and really just trying to look for improvement each and every day, and he's fighting like crazy to get out there and play again.
And a bigger picture one, you mentioned after the game that all wins theoretically are the same, but they don't feel the same. So this is one that obviously felt great for you guys, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the past 72 hours. But you got a really tough game this Saturday. And we talked about maybe after the Miami game, how tough is it to get over a tough loss? How tough is it to put an exciting, gratifying win behind you when you've got such a formidable opponent ahead of you?
Yeah, you really want to carry that emotion and that momentum into Monday's meeting, Monday's practice, which I think the guys did a great job of. And I would say it's probably easier to do that, coming off an emotional victory than an emotional defeat. And they all know what's in front of us. Everybody knows the record. Obviously, they've had a phenomenal season. They got great players down there at SMU, and as soon as you turn the tape on, when we did as coaches on Sunday, and we've crossed over with some common opponents, so we had seen them before, but it doesn't take very long to see why their record is what it is, and so they're very, very good, really in every phase of the game, and extremely explosive and quick and fast. They got a dominant D-line, and so we got a lot of challenges in front of us, and our guys are excited for that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Ron Krojcik from the SF Chronicle.
Morning, Justin. Thanks for taking the time. Obviously, you have one game left, but I'm curious how you reflect or view the first season in the ACC. Obviously, there's a lot of curiosity coming in, what it would be like for you and Stanford, West Coast teams. So how do you sort of reflect what the experience has been like, not just the travel, but the level of competition, just kind of the vibe in the ACC compared to what you're used to from the Pac-12.
Yep. There's great football. There's some fantastic players and teams. Really good coaching. Thought the travel obviously is a bit different. Our administration and operations team did an amazing job in setting that travel up, and we took advantage of the travel, and we'll do it again. Just going out 2 days early and spending time together as a team. I thought our team handled it very, very well. And the ACC has had a lot of close games. There's a lot of teams from top to bottom that are, really well coached and have good players, and there's a lot of tight games. And I don't know exactly what the stats are currently, but I know a couple weeks ago when you looked at league play, the number of one-score games was pretty fascinating, just how close those games are. And so it's been an honor to be a part of it. I think some of those games didn't go the way we wanted them to go, but really appreciate the work that was put in by our administration to help us facilitate the travel and get a chance to go to some new venues and have some new teams play here in Memorial Stadium.
If I guess one quick follow-up, how sort of fresh or exhilarating were those new venues to play at Florida State, to play at Wake Forest and Pitt? And how, having been through it once, how much will that help next season as you experience it again? Well,
I mean, it's always, I think if you're in college football, seeing something new is exciting, but ultimately it comes down to playing, because it's the old Hoosiers reference. The field is the same size, the rules of the game are the same, so it really comes down to playing good football, and there's really good football being played in the conference, and you have to play well to win. There's no gimmies. You can't make many mistakes. Not much margin for error for us, and so how does that work? How does that look? Or is there any advantage going forward? I mean, yeah, maybe being there and you've been through the trip once, but we're going to have it's a big league, and there's other venues that will be new to us next year, and there'll be teams coming in here that are new. Ultimately, it's about playing good football, and the teams change from year to year. And in this era, you don't quite know exactly what the other teams are going to look like next year, and nor your own team. And that's just the world we live in 2024 of college football.
Thank you.
All right, back to Jeff Ferrado.
Yeah, Justin, a couple of quick things. One is you're going to travel on Thursday, it sounds like. And what are your plans for your team and Thanksgiving? Are you going to have a big dinner together, or how's that work?
Yeah, we're going to travel Thursday, 2 time zones. We're staying in Frisco, the same place we stayed when we played North Texas a year ago. It's an unbelievable setup. And you also have a ability to do a walkthrough right there at the Star. We will have a feast on Thursday evening when we land, so we'll spend some quality time as a team together, which everybody will enjoy, and we'll make the most of that.
And then my second question was, I saw a video from after the game during the pandemonium and all the celebration of some guy trying to swipe a Cal helmet off the bench, and one of your equipment staffers chasing him down. I wonder what you thought of his explosiveness and his tackling ability.
Yeah, Jeff, the one critique I would have is when we teach tackling on a chase tackle is we really want to come and secure the tackle and then come over the top, violently to separate the runner from the ball, or in this case, the helmet. Other than that, flawless technique by Trevor is his name, and I really appreciate the effort. He was enforcing one of the beliefs we have as a program, which is don't steal things. And I think we'd all be a lot better off with more Trevors out there. So we appreciate his effort. And again, just next time, we'd like to see the big right hand chopping down like we would on a chase tackle. But other than that, it was flawless.
And what's Trevor's last name, if I could?
Skogerbo. Skogerbo. You have to look it up. But he's
Make it a spring look, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he is going on the teach tape for sure. But again, it's a good lesson for all. Is don't steal stuff.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, back to Jake Curtis.
Justin, could you just expand on SMU's strengths and maybe a player or two that really sticks out?
Yeah, offensively they're explosive, scoring 40 a game. They run the ball exceptionally well. The running back is a very, very talented player. He's a home run hitter. The quarterback is a very efficient passer and is extremely athletic. He makes it challenging on the defenses. Their O-line is very good. The receivers are explosive. Defensively, their front is very, very good. One of the best fronts we've seen, top two for sure, and very athletic in the secondary. They cause a lot of havoc up front. They have an elite returner, really in punt and kick returners. So they're a very, very fast team. They got speed all over the field. They've done a great job in recruiting and developing their team there. And there's a good reason. It's easy to see when you turn on the tape why their record is what it is. So it's a great challenge for us in every phase, offense, defense, and special teams, and our guys are going to be excited for it.
All right, Steve Croner.
Just kind of a question about a play near the end of the game, which I think maybe got overlooked. You had, I think, 3rd and 5 at the Stanford 15, and Chandler Rogers had a big run. One, if you could just talk about how he's dealt with not playing much and still making a big play. And then if I could give you the hypothetical, say if it had been 4th and 2 with a minute 12 to go, do you kick the field goal to go up by 6, or do you try to go for it on 4th down?
Yeah. 2 great questions there, Steve. The first, I've been so incredibly impressed with Chandler Rogers. He is in a tough situation, came in here to compete to start. Hasn't played as much as I'm sure he wanted to or expected to, and he's been just the ultimate professional. And for him to go in the game there, we knew it was some tough sledding in the run game, and a way to gain an advantage there is to add the quarterback. And we know, we probably talk about this enough that you guys know, once you start adding the quarterback, you get an extra hat. We ran a little Q counter, and great job up front, and he had a great run and put his head down, got the first down. It was, I think, 3rd and 5. We were any 4th and short, we were going to go for it. Yeah. The decision would have been, 4th and 4 or 4th and 5. And that would have been based on probably what happened right there. Did we get some push? Do we like what we have on 4th and 4, 4th and 5? Because there's certainly 4th and 3 or less, we were going to go for it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Matt Moreno from Rivals.
Yeah, you look at someone like David Reese, and he was able to perform, well in this last game. Maybe gets overshadowed a little bit by the play of Fernando and Jonathan Brady. Maybe some of these other guys that were making more kind of noticeable plays. But is there anybody or any player that you saw in this last game that gives you some confidence that, hey, they can really put some things together here these last couple games?
David Reese was one of those. He was one of the players of the game for us. Noel Williams, who I think we've been accustomed to getting great football out of. Craig Woodson, it seems like each and every week plays really good football. So Noel and Craig and David is one. But I thought, it was great to see JB step up. And that receiver room kind of been rotation of who's having the big day. And it was great to see him make 2 critical plays. And not that some other guys didn't, but, David had some really good plays. I thought the D-line, especially from the second quarter on, there's some guys that really showed up. X made some key plays. We had the series to me that really swung the momentum was after we fumbled the kickoff, is we got 3 stops and then forced the field goal, which was a muff field goal attempt, so there was no scoring there. And on that series, the first play of the series on 1st and 10, Stanley McKenzie, who doesn't play a ton, but gets some valuable reps, and he went in there and 2-gap the center, makes a tackle for 1.5, 2 yards, him and Craig, I believe. So then it's 2nd and 8, then Liam pulls the quarterback up, they have to throw it away, 3rd and 8, Craig Woodson, there's a catch tackle, incomplete, and then they have the issue on the field goal attempt, and then we go down and get a field goal. Lin Wilson on that field goal we connected on from 46. Co did a great job, protection did a great job. Lin Wilson, the holder, makes a great hold, because it was Birdman, who's usually throws strikes. It wasn't his best snap. And Lachlan who punted really well, but got that ball down and we kicked it through, and that was a huge play in the game. So that swing right there, to me, with some guys that maybe don't get as much credit as they should, was key in winning that game.
And it feels like every coach, it's always the mantra is like, it takes everybody. And you talked about, this season, like one play here or there could change things. How important is it kind of have like a tangible, evidence of like, hey, if we all do our jobs, this is kind of the end result?
Yeah, and I think the players understand that. They know it. That's what we talk about on Mondays. We emphasize that week in and week out. And this past week, we showed the things that were the difference in the game and those plays that we're talking about. And then the stat sheet, it shows up, Stanley had a tackle or a half a tackle, but that moment was so critical. And then Lachlan getting the ball down, so we kick it through. I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing. And those are the things. I know, obviously, the last two drives and the 98-yard drive and Fernando and JB connecting on the touchdown are obvious. But there's so many plays that can turn the tide of a game. And you always have to be under the assumption as a player that it's the next play that you play is going to be the one that changes the game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, last question for Jeff Ferraro.
Yeah, a couple of real quick things. First of all, you mentioned Lin Wilson. Can you just talk about the season he's had as your punter? He's about to, I believe, break your single season punting average record and your career punting average record. And been a lot of punters at Cal over the last 120 years.
There have been a lot of punters and a lot of really good punters, excellent punters. I think Lachlan's done a fantastic job. He has been obviously much more consistent. We always knew his best is exceptional. It's very, very good. And he's done a great job of grooving the ball and for the most part putting it right where it needs to be. He hit the ball really well last week. Our special teams staff, Vic Soto, who is our special teams coordinator, Ryan Longwell, who works with the specialists, Frizz, who assists that group as well. Those guys have done an awesome job with that crew, and it's great to see Lachlan, on the verge of breaking those records because he's put in a lot of work and he's a very talented guy. And again, that starting field position, moving them back and pinning them at times this season has been really, really big for us, and really proud of him and excited for him to hopefully set some of those records.
And then if I could follow up on the Texas connection a little bit, when you're going into Texas and trying to recruit someone to come to California, and California isn't the most popular place with all Texans probably, but I'm just wondering, how do you sell coming to Berkeley, and how do you keep them from probably what's a natural urge to want to go to one of the schools in state?
Yeah, there's a lot of players in the state of Texas, and not all of them want to leave, but there are some that are looking to, for something maybe a little bit different, and education, living in the Bay Area, nonstop flights. It makes it very practical to go down there and recruit. And yeah, is every single player going to come and take a visit here and come here? No, but there's a lot of really good players that have and will, and we have a track record with those guys, and a bunch of those guys have been through here and gone on to play professionally. And there's guys on our staff. Josh Drayden comes to mind. He came from Texas, really good high school player, exceptional human being, great student, played really good football for us, had an opportunity in the NFL, and now he's on our staff. But there's a lot of good football down there, and a lot of opportunities out here. Again, we're going to start here in California, but that's an area that's been very good to us, and we'll continue to mine that area for players that fit in here.
And when you are recruiting someone in Texas and you can use past guys who've had success from that state at your program, how much does that help convince guys that it's a good move to come 2,000 miles away?
Well, it certainly helps that there's been guys in their shoes, and a lot of times, like right now, we have a number of guys that have been through it. So they come out here on a visit and talk to them and talk about the adjustment and all the things they may have questions about. And so, yeah, there's really no better resource than somebody that's been in your shoes before that has made that move and has had success in doing it.
All right, thank you.
All right, one final question from Ron. Go ahead, Ron.
Justin, I was just thinking about sort of memorable or unusual moments in your first ACC season, and I was thinking about game day coming to Berkeley, obviously the first time. And now that we're a couple months removed, any sense of the impact that had on your program? I mean, obviously it was high visibility and high energy, and now that we're not in the immediate aftermath, I'm just curious how you reflect on the significance of that.
Well, just how much passion there is here, and it's a big school. We know that. It's a great academic institution, but smart people love football too, and the energy at game day and at the stadium that day proves that. So it was great to see all those folks out, and having game day here, and some of the Marshawn being there was awesome. But just for the campus to see, for the campus community to feel that, and how important that is, that energy, that passion, and that there's a lot of people here that really do care and love football and are passionate about it, and it was obvious when game day came to town.
Do you have any sense yet how much, if at all, that helped recruiting? I mean, you would think logically it would.
Yeah, I mean, when you turn it on, and people turn on game day every Saturday morning, and there's, I don't know how many thousands of people. What was the count? I don't know if we have a count on that, but it's one of the most crowded game days that they've had, and right here on our campus in an unbelievable setting. And so I think it just, again, proves the point that there's a lot of passionate people here. They love football, and yeah, you can love football and also get a great education at the same time.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.